by the click of a phone, a kid can see what's going on at the facilities, the
Right.
program, how they working, the academic advisors. Now with this whole NIL stuff that's popping off, whatever. Because you know what we're doing at my school, and it's being said in our group text, and this is how I feel. And I'm a man first before anything. We promote the damn turnover chain and those touchdown rings more than we promote trying to win a national championship and about the beauty of Miami, you know, and all that. These kids that are from here, like my son done been to Europe, my son done been to Hawaii, he done been all across the country, he's born and raised down here.
Right.
He can go to the beach anytime he want.
Right.
You can't sell that to these you can't sell that to these kids. That's you may try to sell that to a shorty that's not from here, but these shorties want to go win. They want to compete. They want that quickest route to the NFL.
Right.
You know, and it's sad to say that when Florida and Florida State are out recruiting my school for my son, that's a problem.
Welcome to South Florida. Yeah. Welcome to South Florida. Welcome to South Florida. Welcome to South Florida, the bottom of the clip of the Gunshine State. One of them boys still boring in that way. Big plate, get it for the 18 if you straight. Get cake and stop hating, it's the motto of the state. A lot of fakes, but it's still real around here. That foreign talk, that can get.
One thing I want to say before I get out of here, when Mario Cristobal tell my son, take all your visits, enjoy it. When Coach Saban told him that on our very first Zoom call, and then when we got up there, you know, Coach Saban was like, hey, we're not forcing you. We're going to be here when you're ready, whenever you're ready to commit. Mario said the same. SC said the same thing. And Coach Mullen, you know, they already think he's going to one particular school. I was told that. But you see, they called me or whatever. But they recruited him hard, too. You know, but it just, enjoy this moment, man. Enjoy this process. And that's what the fans have to understand. These kids work their tails off, and they earned this opportunity to get these free trips. Some of these kids never been on the airplane. Some of these kids never been on Miami Beach.
Right.
And then they have the opportunity to go to the USC, you know, or Clemson.
I tell them all the time. Right. So, X, I got a question. X, listen, we just saw Nate Joseph and Edison go to Clemson, right? And I heard that they wasn't really on him. You know what I'm saying? Nate Joseph.
He's there now?
Oh, he's committed.
You say JoJo. Receiver from Edison.
At number one?
Ray, JoJo.
You went 80 something, right?
Number 8, number 5, or something like that.
But when I watched him play in the little spring game with the little referees over there by Iowa State, I think he had like on the 80 number.
Right.
Yeah.
He
nice.
just committed.
Clemson?
And Luke was saying that he took him to Miami early. Miami didn't really like him like that. Is it possible that Miami don't like Earl? Manny? Not Miami. Is it possible that Manny don't want Earl?
I just know. You know what? I think Manny wants E. I just think that Manny done created the little situation for himself that he feel like, you know, that he put himself behind the 8 ball. For one, they was behind the 8 ball from the jump, you know, especially after they offered that 2023 kid, and then they didn't offer him until after he shut Stiletto down, and like I think that was in October, like early October or whatever. But the whole point, when you don't have that relationship with the parents, and any man, if you're a real man, you know you screwed up as far as whatever opportunity or chance that you had. You see what I'm saying? You know, and I just think that because. And I'm going to say this. If you say that Manny doesn't like him, you know who's the number 1 DB on their board?
Who?
Earl. You know who's the number 1 DB? I can show you right now. On Florida State board?
Who?
Earl. Not the athlete. Travis Hunter is the number 1 athlete on their board. I can show it to you. I done been in these schools. Coach Mullen, he told me straight up, and there's no disrespect to the reporters because I respect Andrew. You know, I respect
So he's the number 1 DB on Miami's board.
And that's coming from the DB coaches.
That makes sense.
I'm just telling you.
That makes sense.
Right?
It don't make sense. I don't know.
SC, some people say, oh, Damani, because they're going by this rating. Him and Damani right up there, Damani Jackson, they right up there together on the SC. He's a local kid or whatever. Know the number 1 DB on Alabama board? Junior. I told T-Rod, and DVD. I wanted to talk to them in person about all this stuff. Cause that's the type of man I am. I want to look them in the eyes and let them know who they're dealing with. You know, as far as I'm gonna be straight up with you, bro. This is what's going on, and this is why. Cause they had no idea. They were like, well, man, what's going on? What's going on? And then somebody sent, cause Sean Spence, what's my boy name that was number one that played Kenny Phillips. Kenny Phillips, Sean Spence, they was telling DVD, man, we can't lose Junior, man. We got to get him. That kid is this, and that. Somebody saw an interview that Earl did, like he did with you, inside the house, in his room, with a podcast in Alabama. And the man asked E, you know, what's the recruiting going like? And then after he asked him that, he was like, what's the recruiting going like with your dad's school, University of Miami? Yeah. And he was like, oh, man, I'm kind of staying away from that because of the way he did my parents. This is what he said. And like a fish out of water with this whole recruiting thing. But I had told them in February when I did the first Zoom call with T-Rob and DVD. I was like, yo, bro, I need to meet up with y'all in person. And I want to talk to y'all in person. Somehow, some way, we need to just do this. Right. And I'm a high school coach, so I can talk to them anytime. Right. But that never happened. And I wasn't gonna push for him to do it. But I knew eventually the talk was going to have to happen, and I just made it when he came to me with that. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I'm going to call you. You got some time? He was like, yeah. Right. So I called and we spoke about it, and then he was like, oh, man. And even go back to 2019 before we went up to LSU on a visit, on an unofficial visit in June 5th, 6th, and 7th. When he got up there, I was in the field house. I was in the field house watching kids at a camp. It was LSU camp. Earl out there with Corey, Raymond, and Coach O. They outside the field house on the other field. Right. So Earl walks in with the kid. He ended up signing with Georgia. He's from Louisiana. I can't remember his name. Great kid. But I think he transferred. He transferred to LSU now. Can't remember his name. Great kid. But Earl was kicking it with him. So Earl come back in there walking with him in the field house. He was like, Dad. He was like, they just offered me. I was like, what? Because it wasn't about no. It was just coming up there. They wanted me to bring him up there to just start building that relationship. Yeah, LSU. So Earl posted on Twitter. He took a picture like this in the stadium. The grass it was just dirt out there on the grass on the field. And I get a text from DVD, and he was like, dang. You know, and he was like, man, I told him they better offer him before you go up there. Because I was keeping DVD. And they didn't offer him first? Man, they offered Earl. You know what really made my son look real crazy at Miami? When they offered a 2023 kid, like 2 weeks after we came from LSU. They offered a 2023 kid.
I know what they're talking about.
They offered a 2020.
We got any safeties committed?
It wasn't even a safety.
Yeah.
It wasn't a safety.
Marquise Williams.
It wasn't a safety. But anyway,
that was a receiver. It was a receiver.
They offered they offered a 2023 kid, and it's 2 weeks after we got back from.
Right.
And I was like, man, I think this name sounds familiar. And he looked at me. He was sitting at the island in the house. And he was like, you know, he said the name or whatever, and I was like, wow. They didn't offer him until October when he shut Stiletto down. 0 catches on him.
What you think they was waiting on?
I don't know what they was waiting on. But here's the thing. If you don't want to offer kids early at Heritage, because you said you don't want to give fake offers, right? It's Manny. You're speaking to somebody at the school. Right. Because for whatever reason, people think we don't want, or Pat Surtain don't want kids to go.
I've heard that before. Heritage kids don't come to Miami.
Out of Manny Mount, okay, telling a hyper-ranked person at American Heritage, yeah, he asked why we can't get Heritage kids. And he was told, the reply was, because you don't offer them early.
So Manny asked her straight up, like ballsy, like, yeah, why we can't get the Heritage kids? Maybe jokingly. Why we can't get the Heritage kids to come to Miami? And she told him what?
Was told that because you don't offer these kids early. That's not the main reason, but right, that's part of it. In this day and age, you got to jump on shorties early, and especially at a school like that, where you know the talent pool is going to be here, yeah, for the most part.
You would think they would do that because they did that with James Williams and them. They started recruiting James out of Little League,
Right.
high school, and you would think they did that. Because when Mark Rick came, Mark Rick said, "Oh, we going to the parks.
Yeah.
Get the kids from the parks. By the time they get 12th graders, we already got them."
But some kids are getting offers like and like I always told my child when it comes to recruiting. So if I told this to my son, you know, I'm telling this to other kids as well. Don't get caught up in the offers. But at the same time, it's good to hear that for a kid. So now I gotta it's a feel good moment. So now I gotta step my game up. So it's either gonna make you or it's gonna break you.
Yeah.
You know, because some kids get it and they think they made it and they haven't made it. What Manny reply was when he was told, you don't offer the kids early. What I was told, he said he don't want to give out fake offers.
Right. I understand that. I mean, I understand the BS in offers these days.
Right. But when you come to that school, a Heritage, a St. Thomas, a Miami Central, a Miami Northwestern, a Chaminade,
right,
Cardinal Gibbons, these local, you know, dogs down here. And then when you got a guy that was the head coach of that school, who still have that relationship with us, and people don't get it twisted. Mike Rump didn't have the final say-sos on the Heritage, because people think, well, he was at Heritage. Why aren't
you were there, right? How long
I
you
wasn't
been
there
at
with him.
How long you been there?
19, 20, 21.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. You know, Pat wanted me to come on. You know, and I.
So wait, one thing at a time. So Manny said no fake offers. That's what you was told. No, he don't want to get a fake offer. He want it to be. We want to know, basically, this is a committable offer when we give it to you.
So, he came at those guys that didn't go to Miami. That's in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
They got at those guys late. You know, he probably wasn't the head coach, but he was the DC at the time.
Right.
You know, but now as you being the head coach, and this is what was told to me. So now you ask that question, and then the question is answered, and then you say you don't want to give out fake offers, and then to reply to that was, well, the LSUs, the Ohio States, the Clemsons, the Bamas, the Oklahomas, the Floridas, the Florida States, they do it.
They get on them early.
They get on them early. So, and I know for a fact from when I was there, and I can speak from being there at 19, when I saw this with my own eyes, that when you didn't offer Doug, who's at Minnesota, this guy picked Minnesota over Miami. Because when you told Doug, I can call Doug when we get off the air, and you can, you know, I can tell you, sure, I can call him. You come on this visit, you got to commit, or you can't take no other visits.
If you come on this visit, you have to commit, and you can't go on other visits.
So when I see on Twitter about the Quan Lee kid, when he committed to Miami, but he wanted to take his visit to Central Florida, people got on him, and then some people was mad at me because I said, you can still take your visit. It's still your right to take your visits.
It is.
You know, and this is what you earn as a student athlete. You earn these 5 official visits that's going to be paid for. You can take the airplane trip's going to be paid for. You're going to eat good. You're going to see the universities academically and athletically. This is what these kids should experience.
Who's Doug? Doug who?
Man, don't make me mess up Doug last name.
To play for Heritage.
Number 1.
He went to Minnesota?
Yeah. He was killing it.
Yeah.
He was there.
Why you go to Minnesota?
He was there my first year. Like Miami came at him late for one, and then Selwyn Brown, another Hurricane alumni, played defensive back. His son Devontae Brown, starting cornerback at UCF. They came at him late.
Yeah.
Not super late, but they came at him late. But he took the visit. They enjoyed the visit, but it just was too late.
You've been here 3 years. A bunch of recruits that came through there. Are they coming at all the kids late? Or is
No. Now they offered our 8th grade running back.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
All right.
They offered Devontae Brown, Damari Brown. They offered him, who got another year. He's the next one up in that defensive backfield.
Big tall one,
Yeah. So he next up. Yeah,
So
flex.
they have been offering
Yeah.
earlier.
So now after that,
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, but that's what you should have been doing. Not saying you would have got those kids.
I had a question. Let me play devil advocate here. Do you think that the out-of-town schools deal with out-of-town kids different than they deal with the local kids? You think that's the thing?
me personally, I can't speak on other kids. Ask James Williams. I coached James his senior year.
Ask him what?
Did Coach Little try to push you to Miami? I never said one word to James about going to Miami.
No.
When James committed to Miami, you know what I said? I said, welcome to the family, bro.
Right.
Represent that green and orange. I never told that kid, hey, bro, you got to go to Miami now. Hey, bro, don't sleep on my school, man. I never did that because I won't do that to my own child.
Right.
So why am I going to do that to somebody else's child?
Right. Right.
This is a decision that these kids got to make.
Right.
James made that decision, so
On his
James
own?
did.
Right.
He made it on his own.
No, what I'm saying is, though, do you think schools out of town?
No, I'm about to go there. I just want to throw that in there.
Okay.
They been coming down in Miami from forever getting kids.
Yeah.
I think nowadays schools are going harder because they know Miami hasn't been competitive for a national championship. Like when I went up to Michigan, Cash was talking about the Big Ten. I'm like, Big Ten? What about the Natty? You know? And I guess in their mind I was thinking if you win Big Ten, you're going to be in the national championship. At Miami, it was all about national championship or bust.
Right.
Bottom line. No in between. So now, these other schools, they coming down here, they going hard. They're going hard at these kids, the top local kids. And not saying Miami not going up, but Miami ain't going as hard because I can just tell you about some of the flaws that was here at Heritage. I know another private school that they ain't even recruiting some of the kids over there right now because the kids that's there, they feel like they not being treated right.
That was obvious.
Another topic. Like,
You know, you see what I'm saying? So I don't know what's going on. Like something's got to be done because we are losing too much. Like why wouldn't I? I would love to see my child play in orange and green and just go to the orange. I mean, I was about to say the Orange Bowl. Go to a Hard Rock Stadium and watch him play or whatever. But I'm not going to force him to do that, bro.
Right. Chad Williams came up here and said the same thing.
You
But I
see-
think they buried themselves with Quincy.
And then, yeah. And then,
Wait, I got a
but
question
I'm
for you.
about to go there. But
Go.
then, you got to look at social media now.
Uh-huh.
By the click of a phone, a kid can see what's going on at the facilities, the
Right.
program, how they working, the academic advisors. Now with this whole NIL stuff that's popping off, whatever. Because you know what we're doing at my school, and it's being said in our group text, and this is how I feel. And I'm a man first before anything.
Uh-huh.
We promote the damn turnover chain and those touchdown rings more than we promote trying to win a national championship and about the beauty of Miami, you know, and all that. These kids that are from here, like my son done been to Europe, my son done been to Hawaii, he done been all across the country, he's born and raised down here.
Right.
He can go to the beach anytime he want.
Right.
You can't sell that to these you can't sell that to these kids. That's you may try to sell that to a shorty that's not from here, but these shorties want to go win. They want to compete. They want that quickest route to the NFL.
Right.
You know, and it's sad to say that when Florida and Florida State are out recruiting my school for my son, that's a problem.
Right.
It's sad to say when my Kane's brother, Mario Cristobal, 3 hours away, shooting me texts and Jesse texts, me, Earl, Jesse, Coach Chance, and Mario, every day. When I say Mario going hard in the paint, Mario going hard in the paint. That's the reason why he was the top recruiter in the country when he was at Alabama.
but Mario come from that system. He played with UM,
Play with you.
and he went and coached with Nick, so he understands the landscape of recruiting. I really got to go.
And this is what he told me. He said, "E, I'm bringing that UM swagger and that Alabama SEC type attitude to Oregon." And look what they went and did in the horseshoe the other day. They beat, not Barrett, they beat them.
Yeah.
They beat them.
So what y'all think? Y'all think Manny's a first time head coach, right? First time head coach. It
Let me
ain't
ask you a
like
question.
you born in coach world where all these things you know. You understand what I'm saying? He could be making some mistakes. He could be making some mistakes.
He is making some mistakes.
Right.
It's not and when I speak about this, because I see fans being frustrated as well. Like after the Alabama game, I'm looking at fans. Now fans are frustrated. Then that App State game,
Yeah,
the fans are pissed off, and we the same way as former
talking
players in
about
our
gas
group
up
text. We the same way in our group text. You know what I mean? So it's too much. And then when we down by 31 points and we pulling out the turnover chain, bro, That thing need to stay in unless we whooping somebody, and then that put.
But you can't. So okay, listen. These kids come put the turnover chain on visits. They come put the turnover chain on. It's a thing, bro. Let's not. We created a thing at Miami, and then everybody followed. But I don't know how Bama had they built, but we done seen thrones, and that's what the U do. It sets trends. It does set trends.
We invented swagger.
Right. It sets trends. Earl on the team, his first interception. They losing. They down by 21. The turnover. You trying to tell me that because they losing, Earl don't get the experience that the first time? It's a catch-22. It is. They got to figure that out.
I'm gonna tell you right now because I know my child best. Earl not gonna put on. We get smashed by 31 points. He ain't putting that on.
Right.
Earl don't even put 4-star, on his Twitter.
Yeah.
You will never hear him big him up. Like me, I try to help promote it because this is my child. I'm a proud father as well.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna do that.
So, but when he's.
But this is where it starts.
That'll be the downfall. That'll be the downcline, the decline. That'll be the decline of the turnover chain.
No, it won't. It got to start from the top. Where, hey guys, doing training camp in the meeting room, in the big team meeting room, when the whole team is together. Hey, we getting smashed. That turnover chain don't come out.
The thing is fire, man. Check it out. But you can only get it. You can only get it from liquorsplit.com. Check the link in the description, man. Edge energy drink, my dog. But listen, before we get out of here, man, you said something before we start talking that I hit on all the time. You think the world or the community has a problem with black fathers that are forward and strong? Because it seems as if anytime a black father steps up and maybe start talking for their child or is there, it's like, get out of the way. Let your child live his life. Like LeVar Ball. I told people LeVar Ball was a genius from day one. I saw it. I was like, man, he's a genius, dude.
One of my former teammates said that. I remember him saying that to me when all that stuff was going down. He was like, bro, that brother's a genius. And look at it. Man, listen. It's family over everything.
Right.
And I can care less what somebody say, but I think I only address stuff like this because it needs to be heard. Yeah. Because believe it or not, there are a lot of people DM me and say, man, especially when I was on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, but man, I love what you're doing with your son, man. It's an inspiration and inspiring me. I got guys that took their kids to our game against St. Thomas.
Yeah.
I got a guy that drove from Naples to come watch us play because the following my son and the relationship that I have with my child. Because the stereotype, there ain't enough black fathers out there. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of black fathers out there that's doing their thing. We just don't get because the stereotype is we don't do it. We don't do this here. Yeah. We out there. It's like people want to get on me, and it's not all. Because there's some Hurricane fans out there. I'm telling you, man, they know the real, and we know the real from the fake. When I know this kid was for real, when he was 9 years old, and he woke me up. I took him to Vista Park to run the hills before. He was getting ready for track season because he'll play football, he'll go right into soccer, and then right out of soccer, he'll go right into track. Mm-hmm. I had him running for Miami Northwest Express. Yeah. My boy Coach Hope and all that, because they went to North Miami as well. And he woke me up on Christmas break one time, out my sleep. He said, Dad, can you take me to Vista Park so I can go run the hills? You go out there and watch them practice, ain't nobody gonna work as hard as him.
He go hard.
That boy go hard in the paint. My son played last year with a serious. He had a stress fracture in his I could put it out there now, but people thought it was the hamstring. He had a stress fracture in his lower pelvis. Mm-hmm. That's why he missed the first 4 games of the season last year, and it was part of growth because he was growing. Cause he shot up.
I talk about it all the time.
Like Bama. The first time we went to Bama over the summer because we went twice. They had him at 6 3/4. Then we had to do the physical. Before his senior year in high school or whatever. So I had to take him to his pediatrician, and they listed him the same height. Right. So he shot up, so he's like almost taller than me. Yeah. And then this year he got hurt on the first play of the game against Chaminade. Oh. Opening kickoff, got tripped up on the sideline, boom, fell down. And he ain't said a word. Like the trainer was like, "Hey, good thing about you being a coach on the staff that you can take him out, whatever, or whatever." And I was like, "Nah." I was like, "What'd he say?" He said he's good to go. Yeah. Shorty good to go.
So X, I got a question. X, listen, we just saw Nate Joseph and Edison go to Clemson, right? And I heard that they wasn't really on him. You know what I'm saying? Nate Joseph.
He's there now.
He's committed.
He said JoJo. receiver from Edison.
At number one,
Ray, JoJo.
you went 80 something, right?
Nah, number 8, number 5, or something like that.
But when I watched him
Yeah.
play in the little spring game with the little referees over
Yeah.
there by Iowa State, I think he had like on the 80 number.
Right.
Yeah.
He
He's nice.
he just committed.
To Clemson?
And Luke was saying that he took him to Miami early. Miami didn't really like him like that. Is it possible that Miami don't like Earl? Manny?
No,
Not
no.
Miami. No, not Miami. Is it possible that Manny don't want Earl?
I just know you know what I think Manny wants E. I just think that Manny done created the little situation for himself
That he can't get out of
that
it.
he feel like that he put himself behind the 8 ball. For one, they was behind the 8 ball from the jump.
Yeah.
Especially after they offered that 2023 kid, and then they didn't offer him until after he shut Stiletto down, and I think that was in October, early October or whatever. But the whole point, when you don't have that relationship with the parents, and any man, if you're a real man, you know you screwed up as far as whatever opportunity or chance that you had. You see what I'm saying? And I just think that because, and I'm gonna say this. If you say that Manny doesn't like him, who's the number 1 DB on their board?
Who?
Earl. You know who's the number 1 DB? I can show you right now. On Florida State board?
Who?
Earl. Not the athlete. Travis Hunter is the number 1 athlete on their board. I can show it to you. I done been in these schools. Coach Mullen, he told me straight up, and there's no disrespect to the reporters because I respect Andrew. I respect
So he's the
the
number
guy.
1 DB on Miami's board.
And that's coming from the DB coaches.
That makes sense.
I'm just telling you.
That makes sense.
Right.
It don't make sense. I don't know.
SC, some people say, Damani, because they going by this rating. Him and Damani right up there, Damani Jackson, they right up there together on the SC. He's a local kid or whatever. Know the number 1 DB on Alabama board? Junior.
So listen, man. The other day y'all came out versus St. Thomas, and Pat looked at me, and Pat was like, "Darn, you here again tonight?" Y'all boys almost started 0-3, right? Y'all fought back.
Almost not good enough.
Y'all fought back and beat Chaminade.
but the IMG game was a kickoff classic.
Yeah.
And you know what? Go ahead, finish what you
Okay.
want to say.
First I'm gonna talk about 2 players. I don't know. IMG wide receiver Cornell Tate, right? You remember the 17, number 17?
Yep.
You ain't really paid attention. You saw him on film. Before that game, who did y'all think was the guy when y'all looked at film?
Well, I just looked at him because I know we got the kids on the back end that can compete with anybody in the country.
Right.
Right? And number 8, got them chump boys calling me up in Gainesville.
That's what it
8,
is. He used to be at, but he
that's
used
Corey
to.
Bell.
Oh, but he used okay.
Used to be at the U,
Yeah,
at Central Florida,
yeah.
at UF now.
Got it.
That's my dude right there. Number 8 was that dude
Right.
on tape. So we told E that
Yeah.
he was going to follow him.
Right.
We knew that
17.
17 was nice. We knew the number 1 tight end in the country from South Carolina. What's his name?
Skinner.
Skinner. We knew Skinner was that dude.
Right.
Whatever. But we knew we got guys on the back end too. Are we gonna get beat sometimes? You
Yeah.
playing DB.
Right.
You play this position, you're gonna give up something every
Right.
time. You just can't give up more than that. You know that more. You can't lose more battles than,
Right.
than you win. Excuse me. On that play that he scored, it was cover 1, but the safety came down. On that play out the middle of the
Yeah.
field. And that's all. It was a miscommunication.
No,
whatever.
I brought him up because he looked damn good that night.
I think he just had that skinny post.
And he had that punt return.
Yeah, the punt. No,
and he almost
that's-
ran back to kick off.
But that's where he did
That's
his
where he
damage
looked-
on
right.
special teams.
Right.
Which
You thinking from a defensive standpoint?
Yeah,
No, he
yeah,
just
yeah.
looked like a good player
Right,
on the
right.
punt return.
On the punt return,
he
yeah.
ran one back. They called it back.
Yeah.
No, he was nice.
Did he
So-
run one back for the touchdown and call it back?
I think they called it back.
Nah, I don't think he went.
They ran that punt return.
You
He
know,
ran
so
that
much be
punt
happening
back.
on
He
game
called
night,
it
man.
back.
You won't remember until you see it on the huddle
Right.
or whatever. But
So
but
y'all
yeah,
fight, and he was good.
He was a good return.
Yeah, he from Chicago somewhere.
But as far as on the back end, they couldn't do nothing.
Right.
And they did what they were supposed to do. What we had a feeling what they was going to try to do was try to come pound the ball
Yeah.
because they're a big front. They got kids from all over the country That's why they can't compete for a state championship.
I just interviewed Booker.
But I'm happy.
6'5".
Yeah, well, hard. You know, yeah, he came up to Earl after the game, so they had a little conversation. But he's a future NFL player. Yeah, that kid's a dog.
Mindset, everything.
He got the perfect mindset for an offensive lineman. But one thing that we as a staff were proud of our kids. They went out there and they fought.
They did.
They fought their tail off, you know, whatever, in that game, you know, and that's IMG, you know. Yeah. But here's the thing: a lot of people, I'm seeing people. It's like people be hating on the Heritage kids.
Yeah.
Like, dude, these are high school kids. No matter how talented they are kids, right? It's like people want to. It's like LeBron and them when they was with the Heat. People want to see you lose, you know, because you're good. But don't get it. We haven't even played a district game yet, bro. No. So the goal remains the same.
Right.
Right now we going through some things right now, or whatever. But that's what make a man out of you in this sport.
I mean, Pat Coasted, 25-0. I mean, you need some bumps in the road at some point in time. So listen, then second week, y'all walk into Treasure Coast, right? What was the feeling? Be honest with me. When y'all walk into Treasure Coast, that's the night I interviewed Earl, like the night before I interviewed Earl.
I didn't even know when you did an interview because I saw it late. I was like, dang, because, you know, I don't even know if my son be doing something. That would be tripping me out when I be reading some people's comments. They be like, oh, man, well why his dad is in the interview? Well, for one, I'm a former Cane. I'm a former NFL player, a high school coach, you know, all that. And then my son is one of the top kids. Of course, reporters going to want to hear some stuff from me. And 99% of the time, I turn interviews down because it's all about him.
Right.
You know what I mean? But sometimes I give my input when people ask me, especially when I know some of these reporters.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to I'll turn down some of the guys that I know. You know, and it's good publicity for the school.
Right.
And it's good publicity for my child.
Right.
You know?
So he didn't say anything crazy though, but y'all went into Treasure Coast.
Yeah, no, I reached out to you. I was busting your chop about that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? My dad gonna cook. Your dad gonna come kick in the door.
I was like, what time you go to sleep? Because I was running late.
Well,
He said, I go to sleep at 1 o'clock. How you doing up at 1 o'clock, Earl?
That's because
on the phone.
That's because Heritage. We didn't start school until September 9th.
Y'all started yet? Y'all started?
Yeah, they started September 9th. Last week was their first week, so that's why the kids can be up like that. Because then we don't practice till like 4:15.
Right.
You know, most high schools start at 2:30. When they get out 2:30, like 3 o'clock. We start practice at. We on the field stretching warm at 4:15. Yeah, we start late.
So listen, y'all walk into Treasure Coast. They run like a left wing. Edrin James' son is the running back.
Right.
Did you think that was going to be a close game? You thought it was going to be close?
Me as a coach,
and
seeing some of the comments after the game, you know, from people, like, I know ball, and I'm not saying as a fan you can't make your decision, your comments or whatever, because this what comes with the business. But people don't realize that team was 10-1 last year. Oh. That's an 8A school. Right. Right? And that team was 10-1. And like me and EJ talked before the game, you know, he crazy about Lil E. He like Lil E, you know, and all that, you know. So he met him before, but, you know, he came over there and chopped it up with him for a bit. And we talked after the game. X's and O's wise, our kids wasn't, like, they was going unbalanced, you know, pretty much, and they wasn't covering down. You know, and making it, you know, when you come in an unbalanced line, you got to cover down the extra gap and stuff like that. So that was the problem, and that was probably then until the second half we adjusted to it. Yeah. But then now it's kind of too late when you got a team that's
they was up on y'all.
They was up on us, and we were coming back.
Yeah.
You know, we got them out like on a 3 and out in the second half. We scored a touchdown, and then so now what they're gonna do, which is smart by them, is we're going to let the play clock go down. If you ever had a high school football game and that back judge that's behind the secondary, when he put his hand up like this, God dang. When he put his hand up like that, he's letting the quarterback know it's 10 seconds on the play clock. Right. So they was letting it get down to that. And then they'll go like, you know, when the Dallas Cowboys used to do the old look, like before they got down their 3-point stand, but they'll shift down real quick. Right. They try to get you to jump offside. Right. Then they snap the ball with like 5 seconds, 3 seconds left on the clock, which was smart on their part.
And they made it a short game.
They made it a short game. You know, I just think, and then like in the first half, we gave up too much because kids wasn't adjusting, you know, and then we put them in a better position in the second half.
What did you think of him?
EJ?
Yeah.
I know EJ. Me and EJ talk. When me and EJ, we don't talk every day. We don't talk every week. But when EJ and I talk, we talk extensively. Because we both got boys, and but I know his son was that dude. Yeah. The kids knew he was that dude.
Oh yeah.
You know, We didn't take them lightly.
No.
We knew what was coming. And but like I said, but
I think that was a tough offense to face after facing IMG. You get ready to play IMG, then you gotta prepare to face that off. You have to prepare to face the offense in order to defend it.
right.
But
here's the
I'm
thing.
just talking. I don't know.
No,
What I'm
but
just saying.
here's the thing. You got to give mad props to Treasure Coast and their coaching staff and those kids, all right? Because a lot of these guys, and I saw something. Somebody sent me a post with guys. It's like 2 schools. They coaches talking trash on Twitter and Facebook about all that talent over there at American Heritage, and they like 1 and 2 right now or whatever. But bro, when we was looking for a game to play, when the Georgia team canceled on us to play over there in
Talk that
Naples,
shit. Talk it.
nobody wanted to play us, right?
Not
And then, so now we go play Treasure Coast, an 8A team who got a good running back, but this is what they do from their part.
Yeah.
It's like Tommy Frazier. When Tommy Frazier, because we played in the Florida-Georgia All-Star game, when I talked to him in Orlando when we were getting ready to play the Florida-Georgia game, he told me that they was running that offense. He'd been running that offense since he was a little boy. You see what I'm saying? So now I found out Treasure Coast, because I know the O-line coach, his son played in some All-Star games for Earl. He's at FIU right now as defensive end. We talked for about 15 minutes after the game on the field, and they've been running that offense since they were from Optimus. Like they're off the Optimus part, and then they go from there, they go to Treasure Coast. That's what they've been running. Right. They've been running that since like the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, from what I was told. So they run it to perfection. And if you don't play it right, it'll get you. And it only takes 1 pop. You know, so we didn't take them lightly or whatever. And then, but to get back on those 2 coaches at those 2 schools, and we were supposed to play one of them schools, but they bailed out on us in the original kickoff class. So we had to go play IMG.
Go and say their name, dog.
Dillard.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? And then the kid over there, South Broward.
You said Dillard? D-I-L-L?
Blue and gray team.
He went to Dillard.
At South Broward. One of the guys over there at South Broward, you know, been talking or whatever. But the whole point is, when we were supposed to get it on with y'all in the original kickoff class.
They smoke.
Yeah, no,
But
this what I
this was in my comments saying the same thing.
But this is what I don't like about high school coaches down here.
Talk to me.
Cat's so worried about if this kid, we lose, they gonna transfer from my school. Because I'm not saying this is what they said at the school that we were supposed to play in the kickoff classes that I just mentioned. I think they were supposed to play Chaminade, Cardinal Gibbons, us, or maybe St. Thomas. With one of those other 3 schools, like within like the first 4 or 5 games, and they didn't want that smoke. And I was told this is not what they said. Man, people don't want to lose. They don't want to start off because kids will start transferring out. You know, whatever. This is football. So when we start letting kids or parents handicap us as coaches and as a staff off wins and losses. Now me. When I was coaching that, I went to North Miami. It was 0-10 before I got there. I could have went to the West. Miami High was trying to get me out there. Northern was trying to get me out there. Central and all that. All these schools wanted me to come play ball out there. I wanted to go to North Miami because that's where my brother played, and that's where I wanted to go. This is where my junior high boys was going to go. Right. They were 0-10 before I got there. We were 1-9. We beat Jackson. We were the doormats of the county that year. All right. The next year, I think we went 4-6 or 5-5. And then my senior year, we lost the first game. We won like 11 games or 10 games straight, and then lost in the playoff to go up to state. Right. Why am I gonna dip? My child at Heritage. He ain't going nowhere. You know, and then he go to college. He got to ride that out. Right. And then I left Michigan because Hurricane Andrew hit, before I even went up there, my mom had one of her kidneys removed. And then they thought it was a tumor on the one kidney that she had. So I wanted to come home and see my mom for the weekend. Coach Moeller was being an a-hole about the situation. Right. This man tells me, don't worry about what's going on in Dade, in Miami. Worry about Michigan football. I'm like, Coach, this is my mom we talking about. Right? And then when Coach Latito, God bless his soul, my high school coach, him and my mom put some money together to get me a plane ticket to come home for the weekend. All right? And then so when I come home, I need a way from Ann Arbor to Detroit. All right? Like a 30-minute drive, something like that. So the GA, I don't remember the guy. I remember he was a redhead. He said, I can't make that decision. I have to ask the head coach. That man told the GA, let him find his own effing way to the airport. This is what the GA came back and told me.
Yeah.
When he told me that, of course, I'm a kid, I tell my mom that, you know, and then so my mom's like, pack all your stuff, you're not going back up there.
Yeah.
That's why I left Michigan.
Right.
Some people think it was the cold, some people think I was homesick. You know, I was going up there to play, and the only reason why I went up there first because I was waiting on my SAT scores to come back. And Miami was a private school, and they was losing kids on Prop 48.
Right.
The year that I came out, they wanted everybody to have a test score. So I waited. I waited and I took my test, and then when I got my test results back, I was like, man, I should have waited. But you're a teenager, you know, you want to sign, it's the hype.
Oh, you
know,
just
and all
got
that stuff.
anxious.
Yeah, I got anxious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it all worked out. It
Right.
all worked out for the best of it.
Yeah.
But then you got people that when I was at Jackson, I remember the games that we scheduled at Jackson. The AD was like, "E man, you sure you wanna?" I said, "Coach." You know, we call everybody coach now when you're a coach, but it's the AD.
Right.
And I'm telling him, I'm like, "Yeah, I want to be battle tested for the playoffs. Let's play ball."
Yeah.
Because if a kid don't want to be at the school who I'm coaching, he can go. I only want to coach the kids that want to be there.
Right. But we're saying that, do you think schools should play IMG? Do you think public schools, you think, y'all played them close, y'all got that interception, y'all would have scored, I think
Right.
y'all would have been down 8
Yep.
in the fourth.
Yeah, we was in. I'm saying we played it tough.
Do you think schools should play IMG? Or you think they should find their own schools on their own level to play?
I think I'm cool with them not being able to compete for a state championship.
Uh-huh.
I'm cool with that. Now, when Max Preps crown them or USA Today crown them the national champion, I don't think they should get that reward as well.
Right.
You know, because you're getting kids from Germany, Italy, and then of course all across the states and Canada. So you're getting all these kids to come play for you. It's a prep school. Some of those dudes are 20 years old.
Some of them old, I don't know.
Some of them 20 years old.
I don't think it's a prep school.
It's like a boarding school.
It's like a boarding school. I don't think,
Right.
I've never seen any,
Academy, it's academy.
yeah.
They can't leave campus. They can't leave off the campus during the week.
They can't.
No. I know one of the top dudes over
Don't
there.
even leave on weekends.
They don't leave.
I didn't know that.
I know one of the top dudes over there. He's from Cleveland. I went and did a fishing golf tournament with him in Hawaii and Maui. Good dude. You know what I mean? So
No,
I know a lot about it because
Well, I guess some can be old because when kids can't play, sometimes they transfer to
go
IMG.
to
So they may be
camp,
19, yeah.
Yeah.
the quarter.
Oh.
I was told a couple of those dudes 20 years old.
So do you think, when y'all scheduled him, I hit Pat up. I said, Pat, why? And he was like, I was like, y'all the last team to beat him down here.
Right.
Just leave it alone. He's like, we finna kick their ass again. And I couldn't argue with that.
Right.
Okay, that's the competitive spirit in
Because
it.
that's the mindset we have over there at Heritage. We're
Right.
not running from anything.
Right.
And so and it just so seeing these goofies get on the internet and be talking all this trash about, oh, they 1-2 or they done ran for 1,000 yards on y'all and this and that or whatever. But when we had a game scheduled with you for a kickoff class, you didn't want that smoke.
Yeah.
Then we supposed to go to Carr in New Orleans this week and play in New Orleans. But because of the hurricane situation, we can't play, you know. And we were trying to get teams
Another game,
to
right?
play for that, right? Boom. St. Thomas, they called us because somebody backed out on them.
They got a
and
few
they-
teams back up. They keep playing
and
back
they-
out games.
And they wanted to play us.
Yeah.
So you know what the Heritage boys say? Let's run it. I personally think St. Thomas and Heritage should play every year.
Yeah. That was a
That's
good
like
atmosphere.
modern day playing against
That's a good atmosphere.
out there in California. Centennial. They play it's a big rival.
That's a good atmosphere.
Well, like Central.
Y'all gotta get
They like
y'all
Central
fans.
West.
Y'all gotta get y'all fans to act like they fans, man.
St. Thomas.
Yeah.
Man,
Them boys be wilding over there.
Yeah,
Boy, that boy had a duck. That boy had a duck from the garden in his hand, and I was like, "What the duck for?"
I didn't see that.
Yeah, man, listen. He had a duck with no shirt on. He was sweaty. He had a duck in his hand. And I
A
said,
real
"What
duck?"
the duck for?" He said, "Because Blake throws like a duck." I said, "Oh my God!"
Somebody had a real duck out there?
From the garden, he brought it from home though.
Oh.
It was a duck. It was
Okay,
it was
gotcha,
a fake
I got you.
duck.
I got
But it
you.
was about this big.
I got you. It was one of their fans?
Yeah. He said he
But-
throws like a duck.
But that's what it's all about, though.
No, they make it fun.
That's what
They
it's
do
all
make it
about,
fun.
man.
From a fan standpoint, what can the Canes do to keep the home talent in state in Miami?
One word. Win.
I mean, that's the obvious, but it's the fans want to get a little more intimate with that. They want to see like okay, you got your son, you got #1 receiver in the nation for 23 grand, Enos going to Oklahoma. They basically saying like, damn, why we can't keep that talent?
He just said it.
You got to win, and also, and it goes back to recruiting. When a reporter tells me, a Canes reporter tells me that the coaches feel disrespected when a local top talent down here go off elsewhere when they should choose Miami first. That's not how it works. You have to recruit these kids. Miami doesn't recruit itself like it once did, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. You know, I'm gonna tell you, I ain't gonna say their names. I spoke to 6 Hurricane legends on the telephone. And it was crazy how it happened. It happened like within the span of like 3 days. Just calling me. One of the biggest Hurricanes told me, man, if it ain't 12 dogs going there with him, he better not go there. You know, another.
What does that mean?
If it ain't 12 dogs that's competitive like my son, if 12 more not going there with him, don't go there. All right. Another King legend said, "E, we had our days. We got our love for our school.
Right.
If he want to go to Bama or wherever, let him go. We done did our thing." And that's the thing what people don't understand. Like, I played at Miami. That's where I went to school. This is my son's time to shine.
Right.
Right. I had another King tell me, offensive player, big time King, tells me that he's at a basketball game that he had to pay $600 for basketball tickets when our school played Duke. He had to pay $600 for him and his family.
And this is a legend, you said?
A legend. What'd that tell you? A legend.
What is the word? What do y'all think is going on?
Like Lamar Thomas say, they want our pictures in the hallways, but they don't want us in the hallway.
Because listen, I get it, man.
You know, so and I'm not talking about just coaching, because when I was there, Michael Irvin used to come back and run routes against us. Kevin Williams, LT, Horace Copeland. You know, these guys would go to the league and they will come back.
You can't really do that now,
they'll
right?
tell us what's going on. It can be done. When me and Earl went up to LSU in 2019, when they showed us, they took us to the equipment room and they showed us that the former players have their own lockers and their own mesh bags with their workout clothes. So when they want to come back and work out any time that they want, they have their own lockers at LSU.
Oh,
they have their own mesh bag at Bama. People think Saban is like this mean dude. This dude is funny as heck,
right,
for one. But it's all about his kids.
Right.
He goes to bat for now. He's the man perfection, and he's about his kids. Mario Cristobal.
Yeah.
And I know this because these are the relationships that I've built with over this year from the recruiting of my child. You know, Ed Ochron.
You got a relationship with Ed Reed?
Yeah, he called me Big Bro.
They hire Ed Reed, right?
Here's another thing.
I mean, I've heard that the defensive staff didn't really consult with Ed Reed. I heard that a year ago. Heard the offensive staff consulted with him more than the defensive staff did.
Listen. T-Rob is a great coach.
Uh-huh.
Excellent defensive back coach.
Yeah.
His resume speaks for itself. And it's nothing against T-Rob. And me and T-Rob, we done built our relationship since he we stronger now.
But T-Rob wasn't there last year.
He wasn't there last year. But I'm talking about coming into this year.
Gotcha.
Ed Reed is on record. You can Google it and say it, that I wants to be an NFL head coach or a college coach or DC.
Yeah, I saw it.
And then he just tweeted it out like last week again.
Yeah, said my resume.
My resume speaks for itself. Whatever he said, right? It was after the Bama loss, right? Like I say, I got all the respect for T-Rob, and he know this. This is a relationship I done built with this man. Him and DVD, but like I said, I go way back with DVD. You got the GOAT in the building, and this position open. You could have hired that man as a DC at the University of Miami. He's in the building. All right.
You think he's qualified?
He's hella qualified.
Talk to
Listen, his teammate, Jim Leonard, that played with him at the Baltimore Ravens, who's an alum from the University of Wisconsin. He retires from the NFL. He goes to his school and coach. They hire him as the DC. Jim Leonard should be a head coach right now.
Hire
He
Avery
played
is such
in-
a loaded hire, dog.
It's a loaded hire.
It is.
It's like Florida State had the opportunity to get prime time. Just imagine what that talent, because for one, when you played this game and you played it at that level,
We don't want to talk about that.
Oh, we can talk
Could you
about that.
imagine Prime doing what he doing in Jackson State at Florida State?
he's going to get
Crazy.
those recruits.
Right.
Right? When you played this game and you played it at that high level, and you a GOAT like those guys that know the game,
Cerebral guys,
because
right.
just because you played the game
Yeah.
doesn't mean you know how to coach the game.
Yeah.
All right. So, but there are a lot of guys that play the game at the high level and they can coach it as well. They smart enough. They smart to run the program and all that.
Yeah.
You know, I was just watching something last night just to get off track real quick. The whole Spike Lee documentary that he did on 9/11. So I was watching it last night, and some of the stuff that was going on with the racism and
Yeah.
as far as with the Air Force, you know, they talk about all that, and it just, you look at it, and you like, dang, that's been going on forever.
Right.
Systemic racism, whatever. It's like we got guys that are qualified.
It has.
This is the head 4-star general
Yeah.
that people when they go speaking at events, they looking at him and they look at the other white guys and say, well, who's the like hey general, whatever. No, that's the man. It's the African American brother.
Yeah.
You know, so, but when I saw what was going on with the Air Force, y'all need to check that Spike Lee documentary out about 9/11. It's called, I can't come up with a name, but the Epic Center of 9/11, you know,
I know what you're talking
something like that. But I was looking at that last night, and I was on part 4, and I'm like, wow, that's what goes on in the coaching field. You know, that's what goes on in corporate America, you know. And these are the things that we need to talk
Yeah.
about, because these things are real. Because you got qualified dudes that
Right.
can do it. Just give us the opportunity. Like you get certain, like look at the Dolphins former head coach. He leave Miami and then goes to the Jets. It's the same old thing,
Right.
you know. So now, the
But,
thing-
but I think that conversation started last year when people started realizing that that systematic racism does exist.
Everywhere.
I think if you grow up and you white, you don't realize that the police is a threat. You
Right.
don't look at it that way. It's
Right.
not your life. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's there. They don't see it, and even when they do it, okay. So
a lot of people don't want to see it. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
They know what's going on. They know what's going on, and then it just kills me when. And I'm glad we kind of went off on this subject a little bit. So it just trips me out when I see brothers and other minorities here on Twitter when they say, "Oh well, look at Earl. Look at this person he's following." For one, that person who they was following from Alabama that be saying all that crazy stuff, that's a brother. I know that for a fact. So that's like a burner account for a brother, right? You
Yeah.
just be getting up. Because people troll me. I look at it, I laugh. I don't respond back to it. Sometimes I engage because that's what we do. I'm human.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not that I'm upset. It's cool to get into a little something every now and then or whatever. But I see a lot of stuff, and then it's like, oh, well, all those, you know, they say the racist term towards, you know, like people in Alabama, you know, and stuff like that or whatever. Like, bro, my mom used to work. My mom was a maid for 20-something, not for most of her career working in a hotel. Black people couldn't even go on Miami Beach.
right,
Martin Luther King and them, they couldn't even go stay on Miami Beach. They had to go stay in overtime.
right.
You see what I'm saying? Black people had to go to Virginia Key Beach. They're gonna be, and y'all want to talk about racism? They better do their check and do the history of Florida and do the history of South
Racism,
Florida.
we know it was everywhere.
But I'm saying, but in
It's
their
different
mind,
levels to it, though.
It's definitely different levels to
Right.
it because we know where everything was brought in the South because
Right.
you had to pick the cotton. That's where all the money was coming from, and we know the brutality of that. But don't act like Dade County. I ain't gonna even talk about north of Palm Beach, which I call South Georgia. You see what I'm saying? My dad lived in South Georgia, but I'm just, you
You
know.
ain't gotta go north of Palm Beach. Sometimes when I ride around, what that is up there, Griffin, we got to turn back.
Plantation.
Oh, I remember.
Sometimes I feel
No, you know, I had that feeling too because when I built my house in Davie, you know, and I was telling family members like, "Yo, I'm building a house in Davie."
Davie,
you know,
yeah.
They were like, "Davie, the Ku Klux Klan there," because remember in the '80s they used to march on Davie Boulevard. I mean, on
It looked like it.
on what is it? Is Davie Boulevard? Yeah, over there by the school on the east part. You know, so it You know, that's in Orange Drive. You know,
Yeah.
So I remember seeing that on the news when I was a teenage
racism was
little kid.
everywhere,
It was everywhere.
Yeah,
My dad, growing up in the city, my dad told me we know where the dump, the waste plant on 79th Street and 19th Ave,
Yeah.
right behind Lily C. Evans, where I went to elementary school.
Yeah.
It used to be the trailer homes used to be back there. It used to be trailer. My dad told me that him and his friends just went back there playing as little boys at one point, and a white dude chased them on a horse out of there. They had to run across 79th Street and call them all kind of N-words and tell them don't come back.
In the city.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
That's
don't
crazy.
act like we don't have that. And we still have racism going on down here in Miami.
Yeah.
Because
It's
for-
systematically
for-
is everywhere.
and for the Cuban folks.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? My best friend is Cuban, so I don't want to make it sound like how some white people are. You know, when you hear the racist, some of the racist white people say, "Oh, well, my best friend, I know black people, this and that." Not that. But the point I'm getting to, go look at black in Latin America. You know, how they treat the African, the dark-skinned Cubans.
Cubans, right.
In Cuba.
Yeah.
There's a history on it. You can go see it. Just do your research.
Yeah.
Look at how the Dominicans treat the Haitians, you
Right.
know, in Haiti. And some Dominicans that look just like us, they don't even see the African blood in them.
Right.
You know, so a lot of people got a lot of self-hate because they've been so brainwashed and they just feel like the lighter is better. And we all human.
I told X, I was surprised to see, I didn't realize there were so many black Alabama fans, and that was kind of ignorant
Bro.
for me to say that. But when I went to Atlanta, I was like, oh, this is kind of
You gotta think.
a mixture.
You got to think.
But listen,
So-
man, we gotta wrap this up. We probably gonna run out of tape or something.
It's gonna take 3 motherfucking days, and that's what?